Well, like I said, thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Ryan Murphy, and I'm a co-chair of Unite South Haltom. And Unite South Haltom is a grassroots group of people, organizations, churches, nonprofits, civic entities that have been coming together for a little over a year now to start addressing needs in the southern portion of Haltom City, as well as bringing resources into this portion of Haltom City and collaborating together and communicating together to not reinvent the wheel. There's so many different organizations that are doing great things, and there's so many great citizens in our city that do have needs, especially in the southern portion, and sometimes they don't have access to those needs, and they don't know how to get resources. So what we've done with Unite South Haltom is created a resource page even on our website where you can go and click. You can go to unitesouthhaltom.org, and you can find resources for citizens that are going through different times in their lives, housing needs, food needs, all different kinds of needs that you could point them to. And like I said, instead of different organizations coming in, reinventing the wheel, Unite South Haltom is just collaborating together. And we believe in the we concept, that we can all do better together. And as a group, we can accomplish some great things for our citizens. So on the third Wednesday of every month, we meet at the Haltom City Housing Authority at 5:30 p.m. If any of you would like to join us, we would love to have you there. And we discuss a wide range of issues. We hear from citizens what's going on. We hear from organizations what's going on. And then we are together right now creating a strategic plan of where Unite South Haltom would like to go. And if here tonight you saw the flyers, Unite South Haltom is a non-political group. We don't have that's not what it's about. It's a grassroots group of citizens that are everywhere in between, far in between. So I wanted a brief statement of what that's all about and why we're here this afternoon. We really believe in, obviously, the local government and the power that these men and women have on the stage to change things in our city. And we also we want to have that be broadcasted. We want more voters in Haltom City. We want more people interested in the city workings, and so that's another thing we're trying to promote is voter registration. If you haven't registered to vote. Register to vote. Tell your friends. We'd like to have thousands vote in our May 9th election instead of just a few hundred. We'd like to make it thousands. So we'd like to make those things a big issue. Election is May 9th. Early voting is April 27th through May 5th. Early voting, you can vote at any polling location in Tarrant County. If you wait until May 9th, you'll be able to vote at the TCC satellite campus behind City Hall on Friendly Lane. If you're not registered to vote, like I said, please find one of us afterwards. We have voter registration cards here this evening. In addition to these amazing candidates, let's just clap and thank them for being here tonight. Thank you, candidates. And also pat yourself on the back for being here tonight. And yes, good job. This is great. In addition to them being here and the amazing League of Women Voters is going to run things tonight after I'm done blabbering. They're going to moderate, and we're so thankful they're here. And Georgia, we thank you that you're here tonight. Thank you very much. We'll give them a hand clap. There's also, with the voting going on, the general election, there's also a very important item that's going to be on the ballot up for vote. It's the Crime Control and Prevention District. It's going to be up for renewal on this May 9th election. This program uses a portion of funds from sales tax, not property tax, to fund programs. By renewing the CCPD, it saves the citizens from paying for programs out of the general fund with property tax. Not only does it save citizens money, the programs are a huge benefit have been a huge benefit to those in our community. if you didn't know, things that this is all on the Haltom City website, but I just wanted to, let you know what the CCPD pays for and what you pay for. School resource officer assigned to Shannon Learning Center is what's coming up to be funded. School resource officer assigned to Haltom Middle and North Oaks Middle. Officer in charge of the crime-free housing program. 2 patrol sergeants. Alliance for Children of Northeast Tarrant. Shared services agreement with the jail dispatch with North Richland Hills, Watauga, Richland Hills. Shared service agreement with crime victim liaison services within the city of North Richland Hills, Watauga, and Richland Hills. And commuter-aided dispatch records management systems for police and fire, radio service and maintenance for police and fire, and teen court. So that's going to be also up for renewal on the May 9th election. I'm going to now pass over everything to Georgia and let her take over. What I'd like, she'll probably say it as well, but 3 young ladies from Advent Urban Youth Development. It's a nonprofit here in Haltom City. They're here, and they're going to, if you've written a question down, they'll come by and you'll raise your hand. They'll come and get your question, and they'll bring it up here to the podium. Thank you so much.
Good evening. On behalf of the Mid-Cities Unit of the League of Women Voters of Tarrant County, I'd like to welcome you to the Candidate Forum for Haltom City Council. I am Georgia Kidwell. The League is a nonpartisan organization which works to promote political responsibility through informed and active participation of all citizens in their government. The League does not support or oppose any political party or any candidate. The League puts on forums such as this as a public service. Now I'd like to introduce our candidates. Running for mayor, David Everett, Richard Hutchison. Running for Council Place 1, Janine Nunn, Marion Hillard. Council Place 2, Jeff Rhodes, Walter Groh. Council Place 7, Ann Trung. And for the special election for an unexpired term, Scott Garrett and Willis Odell. Our forum for this evening will be as follows. Each candidate will be given 3 minutes to make an opening statement. After the candidates' opening statements, the program will be open to written questions from the audience. These questions must be written and addressed to a place, not to an individual, or the question may be addressed to all the candidates. The candidates will be given 1 minute to answer each question. Following the question and answer period, each candidate will be given 1 minute to make a closing statement. Pencils and paper are available if you raise your hand, and the questions will be collected also if you raise your hand. Our timekeeper on the front row is Fran Fuller from the League. Fran, will you raise your hand so they see you? She will signal with a yellow card 30 seconds before your time is up, and with a red card when your time is up. Now we'd like to begin with our candidates' opening statements. Running for mayor, David Everett. I think you're going to have to share those mics.
There.
Maybe if you take them off the stand and just hand them.
Okay. Can you hear me? Did I? Can you hear me now? Okay. As your candidate for mayor of Haltom City, I come to you this evening not proudly, but humbly to convey to you why I'm running for mayor. My wife and I are lifelong residents of this city. We have chosen to raise our 2 beautiful children here because we believe in our city. Haltom City citizens deserve a candidate who will advocate for and ensure our city remains safe, prosperous, and progressive. With my finance and business background and extensive community and civic leadership in Haltom City, I have the experience, knowledge, and support to deliver such an agenda that benefits our city as a whole. As a business owner, devoted family man, volunteer, and city council member in Haltom City, my priorities have revolved around holding our local government accountable, fiscal responsibility, opposing unnecessary increases to property taxes and fees, addressing inequities in employee pay structure, and maximizing the economic benefits of the 820 Corridor project. In order for Haltom City to continue to be the proud and progressive city we all know it is, my plans for future progress are simple. Work to engage community stakeholders with a series of council-sponsored town hall-style meetings for the much-needed conversation regarding development. We must capitalize on our geographic strengths and manage growth responsibly. As good stewards of public funds, I will continue to oppose any budget that includes unnecessary increases to our property taxes and fees. Development of a plan of action to address code enforcement-related violations and cleanup of our residential neighborhoods. Lead a renewed effort to improve our quality of life by ensuring that our park system, library, educational, and development standards remain second to none among our neighboring cities. The possible reallocation of a portion of sales tax funds from the Economic Development Corporation to more aggressively address our infrastructure needs. Lastly, addressing both short and long-term transportation needs facing our community. I look forward to a lively discussion here tonight and thank the League of Women Voters and Unite South Haltom for their hard work in organizing tonight's candidate forum.
Running for Mayor, Richard Hutchison.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you, League of Women Voters and Unite South Haltom, for sponsoring this evening's forum. It has been my privilege for 6 years previously to be on the council here in Haltom City to serve this community, and it has been my privilege over these past 4 years to have been serving as mayor of Haltom City over this period of time. It has been my design over these 4 years to lead by serving, to lead by listening, and to lead by representing. Serving the citizens of Haltom City and serving this council and listening to folks as they explain what they desire to see, especially the citizens, what they desire to see and change in Haltom City. We have accomplished many things over the years. We've had gas drilling here in Haltom City. We have had revitalization program plans put into place. We've had planned development plans for both economic development and residential development put into place here in Haltom City, and that is based upon the aggressive infrastructure that we have put into place here in Haltom City. And that will ensure future development, both economically and residentially, and will increase property values and will increase our tax base in this city. And I'm proud to say that we're a part of this. I have been the mayor and seen happen the new fire station that we've had. We've had renovations to the recreation center. And we've had a number of different volunteer services that have been increased in number of participants as a result of the serving attitude that has been put into place. I'm proud to say that there's more volunteers now in Haltom City that have proudly presented our city as one of the top as far as beautification, is proudly presented as one of the top in economic growth, and it is a place of destination now for future planned development, economically speaking. I run as a council member and have been the mayor and representing Haltom City around the area also, for I believe that what's good for Haltom City is good for the region. And what's good for the region is good for Haltom City. And so we've seen that take place. I'm running as for mayor again for a third term as mayor because I believe that excuse me? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Running for place 1, Janine Nunn. Janine?
Hi, good evening. Oh, I gotta have the mic. I could probably talk loud enough, but. Okay, good evening. Thank you guys for coming. It's a great turnout and a lot more people than I really figured. I appreciate that a lot, and we all do. For those of you that don't know me, my parents, Rusty and Wilda Hall, moved to Sabelle Street in Haltom City in 1956. I was 4 years old at the time. I have 2 sisters, Cindy Morton, she lives in Haltom City, and Jan Unkert, who lives in Keller. I've been married to Gary Nunn for 11 years, and we live on Iris Street. Gary's a real estate broker and an oil and gas landman. Together, we have a small real estate investment firm with properties in Tarrant and Johnson counties. Together, we have 3 children and 7 beautiful, wonderful, brilliant grandchildren, ages 7 months to 16 years. Educationally, I graduated from Haltom High School in 1970, University of Texas, North Texas from 1970 to 1974, majoring in personnel and industrial relations. And I attended a paralegal program at SMU in the 80s. After living in several states, my then family settled down in Southlake for 12 years. During that time, I worked for the Trammell Crow Company. My division was headed by a Trammell Crow partner, and we were responsible for multifamily development in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. As part of the management team, I worked very closely with our real estate landmen in all aspects of development. During this time, we acquired and developed a large parcel of land in Grand Prairie that was a huge reclamation project. Most of it was in the floodplain. It's now Lone Star Park. In 1992, my ex-husband and I purchased a 28-acre family campground and RV park in Buena Vista, Colorado, and moved to the mountains. This was a rundown, foreclosed property with a not-so-good reputation. Within 4 years, we had developed it into the 3rd highest-ranking campground in Colorado. It was sold in 1998. The campground was a seasonal business, so I began working for Copper Mountain Ski Resort in the winter months for 6 years. I'm proud to say that in 1999, out of over 3,500 employees, I was awarded first runner-up for Employee of the Year. In 2000, I moved back to Haltom City. My mom and dad were still living in their home on Sabelle, and I purchased my current home on Iris Street. I was able to visit and care for them until they passed. Currently, and for the last 15 years, I have been a manager at DFW Airport for Standard Parking Corporation in the bus transportation industry. We run 54 40-foot buses, have 150 employees, and pick up an average of 14,000 passengers per day. Needless to say, I am very familiar with contracts, budgets, schedules, OSHA, EPA, labor law, DOT requirements, collective bargaining agreements, personnel law, and a little bit of stress. I've worked hard and smart my entire life. I have a great deal of experience, business knowledge, people skills, and common sense. I do not take things lightly. Thank you very much.
For place 1, Marion Hilliard.
Thank you. I grew up in this area, and as I told someone recently, I experienced many firsts. Some of them we won't talk about. Some of them were a lot of fun. But we lived here for several years, and with my job with Sprint for 25 years that I retired and then went to work for another 5 years at Bank of America. We came back home about, and this is home, a place to call home, and we came back about 10 years ago so that my husband could be with our family before he passed away. The funny thing about this school, and the thing that's near to my heart, is that this is where I met my husband. And this is where we then, after he graduated, got married and lived together 42 years until he passed away. I've been on the council now for 4 years, so I've had 2 terms, and I'm very anxious and would very much like to continue to serve you with 1 more term. During the terms that I have served, when I started, my focus was on budget and sticking to it, and also on taxes, and wanted to keep the tax rate as low as it could possibly be and yet grow with whatever we needed to do for the community. That's been quite difficult because we came on kind of in a time frame when we were a little depressed in our economy and housing had dropped in their values. So we've had a tough time, but exciting. And I'd like to see a lot of the things that started before I came on the council but are in the process of finishing come to fruition and be part of that. I am very much for taking care of our employees because my degree in management said that your employees can make you or break you, and I firmly believe in that. And I think that one of the things that we've strived to do and that we did some progress last year was to bring our wages more into a marketable stage and try to reward our employees with the benefits they deserve that will allow them to want to be here as their home and be loyal to us. I have a lot more to say. I know. I also very much want to continue to serve you, look at the issues of transportation and the amenities, the parkland. I want more parks. We have 11, and I'd like to see more, but I think the critical point for us is to first look at our parks that we have and say, are they of a quality nature? And bring them up to quality nature with the safety and the amenities that they need, and then ask the question, sorry, can we afford it?
Running for place 2, Jeff Rhodes.
Good evening. Thank everyone for coming. Appreciate you taking your time. I'd like to tell you why I'd like to have this seat and why I got involved or interested in being official with the city. It started in 2013 when I took a Citizens Police Academy. After that, I joined the Alumni Association and got active in it and volunteering and began to see some of the things that go on in our city. I was fortunate enough to request and be appointed as an alternate to the Planning and Zoning, and then was more fortunate to be moved to a commissioner and begin to learn more and more that's happening in our city, and what's happening is how it affects our citizens. I began to going to the council meeting and hearing the things that are happening, listening to the people that we have and the quality of people that we have that are leading our city now. We have a great demand or great opportunity in our city with the planned development that's going on, our residential area that's going on north of 820, the businesses that want to come along 820 and be with us. We need these businesses. We need the businesses that you, the citizen, want. We need to hear from you, understand what you want. We need to lead by your request. What you need, what you want, you need to tell us. I want to hear that. Our tax base, I guess, is one of our most pressing things. To develop this corridor with this development of business and revitalizing our areas of city with property taxes going, your values would go up in your home. This would increase your tax bill, but it would also increase the value that you have, and it would increase the money and revenue that the city has, so that the things that you need, streets, protection, our city, police, our fire, we have a very highly respected police and fire department led by quality individuals that has highly trained and respected people working in that. Our streets departments, all of our public facilities are led by quality people. I'm asking that you vote for me for this place so that I can help our city and you grow. Thank you.
Sorry. That's okay, Mr. Rose.
Running for place 2, Walter Groh.
I want to thank the League of Women's Voters and Unite South Haltom for putting on this forum. I've lived in Haltom City for 20 years, off and on. I graduated from Haltom High School in 1984. After that, I went into the Army and had a chance to see several areas, several parts of the world, and then came back to Haltom City, and where I was employed as a Haltom City police officer for 7 years. I have a unique experience being able to see what the city looks like in some of the areas, particularly South Haltom City, where the citizens need help. I'm also concerned, I've currently lived in Haltom City, this stint for 10 years, and in Biscayne, and I currently work for Microsoft. I have a degree in bachelor's in business administration, and I work on projects with large corporations and where budgets are important. So fiscal responsibility is one of the primary things that I'm concerned about, making sure the city stays within its means and we keep the tax rate at its current level. Thank you.
Running unopposed for place 7, Ann Trung.
Thank you, ma'am. 2 years ago, a lot of people come approach me and say, "Hey, Ann Trung, you want to be city council?" I say, "What?" I live here 34 years, but 27 years ago, I was the victim of the police department here. They tried to throw me in jail every day because I find out that's one of the cop corrupt bribery. But now, look at our city, how good our police department. The crime is low, everybody happy. That's why my first goal is try to keep people safe. So far, what you heard from other cities around the nation, we have problem from citizen and police. But I don't believe that will happen in Haltom City. A lot of people are asking me, where are you from? Where you come from? I'm from Vietnam. I was born during the French occupied Vietnam. I went to America 1970 for pilot training. I graduated from US Air Force. And I fought in the war for 4 years. I got shot down 2 times, and here I am sitting here. When I come here, I told my wife, no more gun. But finally, I joined the police because nobody can speak English better than me. I mean Vietnamese people. But when I got selected, I passed all the tests required. I went to the police department for work. Everybody laughed at me, say, "You can't speak English, you can't write English." They are right, but I don't feel bad because that's not my mother language. My foreign language is French and some Chinese. Now I learn Spanish too. Because of them told me, you can speak English. I spent 20 years in school. Day, night, after work. I got my bachelor, I got my master, and my PhD in criminal justice. I believe if I want to do something, I will achieve that. So the people know me. They elect me because they know I can achieve the citizen goal. So right now, I have no man or lady sitting next to me, my opponent. I would like to say thanks to all of you, trust me, so you don't send opponent against me. Thank you so much.
Running for an unexpired term, place 3, Scott Garrett.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Well, first, I'd like to thank our host and everyone tonight. Thank you for coming out. I'd like to thank everybody up here too. I mean, it's It's a voluntary thing to, oh, you can't hear me? I'm sorry. It's all right. Oh. You're not telling me I don't speak loud enough, are you? My wife would argue with you. So, can you hear me now? Thank you to our host, South Haltom Women League of Voters, and everybody up here that's volunteering to run for city council. But mostly, thanks to you guys for coming out. I mean, this shows your involvement in our city, your interest in our city. And I guess I'm supposed to sit here and talk about myself for 3 minutes, which I could do probably for 3 hours, but I don't want to do that. What I want to talk about is you guys, because you're the only ones that really matter. And to my esteemed colleague up here saying he doesn't think that Haltom City really has problems that other cities, I would beg to differ. And I think that's one reason you guys have come out tonight. I come up here after 12 years in the city. I've served in various aspects. I've been on the Zoning Board of Adjustment for a few years. Kind of got an inside view of City Hall and had the benefit of meeting certain folks at City Hall and working with staff closely and lots of citizens. And what I come to you tonight with is questions. And that's how I'm approaching this position, is with questions. I have a lot of questions about our city and how things have gone over the last decade or so, and I definitely don't want to impugn anyone, but I just have questions. Just from my time on Zoning Board of Adjustment, I've heard folks come up applying for variances to certain things just over the last couple of years, complaining about how much it costs just to get a permit to build something, or how much it costs to open a business in this town. Why is that? I don't know why that is. And I also have seen our code enforcement staff decreasing over the last few years. Those are the folks that are out looking for the issues. You know, we all have those neighbors in our neighborhood that don't really care too much about their yard, or about the junk, trash, and debris, or about the junked up vehicles in their yards. We've got, I think, somebody could probably correct me, I think we only have 2 code enforcement officers now running the streets. However many square miles Haltom City is, to me, in my mind, that doesn't seem like it's enough. We've seen the scale backs in the personnel, and that's not good enough for me. I want myself as a citizen, and I want you guys to have the service that we need from City Hall and the protection that we need from our police and our fire department. They should be paid like they're supposed to be paid. In my mind, I know what I hear. I don't know the facts. They're not getting paid like they should, and it's very important for our police department to do what they do, because we've got a serious problem in South Haltom, and that's exactly what this gentleman represents here. There are some issues. The focus, it seems like, over the last decade has been kind of up north, the 820 project and all that. I don't see a lot of activity in South Haltom. Thank you very much.
For place 3, Willis Odell.
Hi there. I'm Willis Odell. I don't know, can y'all hear me there? I live on 3501 Meadow Oaks, Haltom City. I was raised at 5009 Haltom City pretty much my whole life. I'm 46 years old, and I have a lot of time on my hands, and I'd like to spend it with the citizens here in Haltom City and help out as much as I can, which is 100%. There's a lot of issues in Haltom City that I've noticed that I'd really like to try to help out, and the way I can see it helping out is getting on city council and seeing if I can just put that 100% in here and help the citizens here in Haltom City. We have a lot of vacant buildings in Haltom City, a lot of vacant businesses in Haltom City, and I've noticed that over all the years that I've lived here. There's a problem. I don't know what it is, but I would like to get in city council and find out what it is and listen to some of the citizens here and see what we can do to help. That's why one of the reasons why I want to be on city council. There's there's lots of reasons why, and I have lots of good new ideals. I figure the times now, we need a change, and we need new ideals, you know, to help this city. And I love this city. This is the city where I was raised and the city where I'm going to be until I'm gone. And that's the reason why I'm here. And pretty much everyone that knows me knows that I'm really working hard to try to get on this city council. And that's my main goal right now, to get on to I want to work for the citizens here in Haltom City, and I want to be a part of this Haltom City here. And I really think I can do a lot of good here if I could just have that chance. That's all I need is that chance. I'm really hoping I can get votes and get in there to show y'all that I really can do some good in here in Haltom City, which we need some good here. And as far as our police department goes, I think they're doing a great job. They're doing the best job that we've had in years. And we need to work on a lot of city issues here, and I'm wanting to do something to help. Just give me that chance, and I will promise you I will work hard as I can to try to get what y'all want. And I'm here for all the citizens, and I am a citizen here, and let's try to help Haltom City, and let's try to move forward. And as far as South Haltom City goes, it's been neglected, and I think we can do some good. Thank you.
Our first question is for all of the candidates. What experience do you have serving the citizens of Haltom City? Let's start with Mr. Odell.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
What experience do you have serving the citizens of Haltom City?
Well, the experience that I believe I have, I'm a business owner, and I have a lot of common sense, and I really think we need a lot of common sense in Haltom City, and I can work good with people and lots of good ideals, and that's pretty much what I have.
Thank you. Mr. Garrett.
Thank you. Well, we moved here in 2013, and after my 12-month residency was completed, I was appointed to the Zoning Board of Adjustment. Served on that board ever since, with the exception of a couple of times that I resigned due to school demands. I was going to school full-time and working full-time. So I've been on the Zoning Board of Adjustment. I'm currently on the Charter Review Committee. And had a chance to work a lot with the city staff. Got a lot of knowledge of all the zoning requirements and so forth for the city. So basically been in service of the citizens of Haltom City since 1 year after I moved here.
Mr. Chung.
Like I said, I live here over 34 years. I'm currently still a law enforcement officer for 28 years. I am working gang, drug, and homicide. Every day I face with the death, the danger out there, but I enjoy it. I bring that experience to this city, and I try to keep this city safe. That is my goal. I'm proud to be a first Asian councilman here. I make history, at least for the city, that we have an Asian guy here. So thank you so much for asking me that question. Thank you.
If you can refrain from the applause, we can get through many of these questions a little faster. Mr. Groh.
I've worked for Haltom City for 7 years as a patrol officer, or as a police officer, 2 years on patrol, 5 years in criminal investigations. I've worked as a consultant where I've implemented large projects for software, so I understand the process of budgeting and making sure things are implemented in time. I also have a bachelor's degree from Northwood University in business administration, and I'm currently going to school for information systems. So I'm used to working hard, working on multiple things, and I'll give my full effort. Thank you.
Mr. Rhodes.
Actual service with the city of Haltom began when I started with the Citizens Police Academy. The volunteer work that I did the last year has shown me the participation of the citizens in the functions that we perform for them. Being on the Planning and Zoning Board for the short time I have, I've learned a lot about zoning, people's needs and what they want. I spent 22 years in a family business growing up, ran it for 7. I spent 35 years in management with 3 paint manufacturers. I'm familiar with how to do budgets with that. Smaller budgets, but I did know how to do that, how to meet deadlines and work with individuals. So I feel qualified to help.
Ms. Hilliard.
Thank you. Besides the 4 years on the council, I serve as council liaison to the Planning and Zoning Commission, on the Animal Control Board, and on the Housing Authority Board. In addition, I do have a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. During my career with Sprint, I started at Frontline as a service rep, and a year and a half later was promoted into my first management position and spent the rest of my 25 years in management. During that time, I moved from place to place. I managed up to 75 people at one time and 3 unions at one time. So I feel like I'm very qualified in the budgeting process and in management of resources and people. Thank you.
Mrs. Nunn.
Okay, at the present time, I'm really not involved in anything in Haltom City, except I've done a lot of work in the background. When my husband was on the city council, supporting him and bringing forth ideas and running ideas in front of current council members. I do believe that I have an excellent background with my budgeting, with my employee relations, that I can make a difference, and I will dedicate over 100% of my time, my listening ability, my actions to be an excellent council member.
Mr. Hutchison.
Thank you. My qualifications include being a member of the council for 6 years, beginning in 2004 through 2010. I've been, of course, the mayor for the last 4 years here in Haltom City. While on the council, I served as the council representative to the library board and helped them plan for and build the new library. While I was a member of the council, I was also the liaison to the Zoning Board of Adjustment. As a mayor of Haltom City, I've also served on the Economic Development Board and have also been a part of the mayor's council throughout the region, and TML region president, Region 8 president in place for Place 8. Thank you.
Mr. Avert.
Thank you. Here we go. I have 11 years experience as a council member. During that time, I've served on the Economic Development Corporation. I've been the council liaison to the Planning and Zoning Commission, Zoning Board of Adjustment. I've been the council contact for the Library Board, the Park and Recreation Board, and also the Beautification Board. Beyond that, as a property owner, commercial property owner and property manager, I've also helped serve the citizens by expanding our local tax base by bringing in businesses and also jobs.
Our next question, what are your specific goals while on the council that will bring about sustainable change in Haltom City? Let's start with Mrs. Nunn.
Okay, I definitely believe that we need to entice businesses to Haltom City. This will help our tax revenue base, keep property tax increases at bay. We need more budget and expenditure transparency. We need to decrease the amounts of lawsuits that are filed against the city, and by doing that, we just ensure that these are not for reasons that could have been more effectively handled. We need more quality of life for our citizens, parks, streets, restaurants. One of my main goals is to honor our veterans and build a veteran memorial park for Haltom City. I know several people say we have too many parks. Some of them need to be upgraded, but we definitely need a Veterans Memorial Park. Keller has it, Burleson has one, Arlington has one, Grandview has one, Haltom City needs one. Thank you.
Mrs. Hilliard.
The goals that I've laid out for myself for the future to be able to influence and work with the council would be planned for growth and the increased services that we're going to need for that growth. Enhance a place to call home. Promote small business growth. Create effective transportation plan. Work with our streets, not just our main thoroughfares, but also our neighborhood streets, and see how we can make our funds stretch to that point. And to maintain a responsible taxation rate. I would very much like to see our taxation rate stay as it is, and if our 820 development and our development along Denton Highway and Belknap come to fruition, we should be able to do that. But in order to increase our amenities, we need to look at that very carefully and decide what is absolutely necessary for our citizens and for their enjoyment of life here in Haltom City. And I would...
Thank you.
Sorry.
All right. Mr. Avert?
Would you repeat your question, please?
Certainly. What are your specific goals while on the council that will bring about sustainable change in Haltom City?
Sustainable change. Well, one, I think we should be more proactive. And by proactive, I mean not only fiscally responsible, but we need to, as we approach our budgets, we should avoid approaching our budgets each year, which we do in the summer of each year, as we should avoid approaching them by looking at an automatic tax increase. I think, unfortunately, over the last decade, our taxes have increased over 40% because of the council's approach. I think by looking at that, being more responsible, I think that would help us in assisting in achieving growth.
Mr. Hutchison?
Thank you. I believe that we have continued or will continue the forward progress that we've already set in motion with planned development around the Loop 820 corridor, both residentially and economically. I believe that we have a revitalization program and we need one for in our neighborhoods also, some of the poor neighborhoods. And I believe that that will increase our tax base and especially increase our property values. I think the goals that we have set in place have caused a facelift in this city and will continue to change this city as we have seen it grow over these last few years. And that will keep taxes down because of the increased tax base. Thank you.
Mr. Garrett?
Well, I guess my primary goal would be to find and reduce waste. It seems like our taxes have gone up over the past few years, but it seems like our services are decreasing. We've seen a few new streets put in, but we don't really see a flow of businesses flowing in. I know we've got the Economic Development Corporation we're pouring millions of dollars of tax dollars into every single year, but I just don't see businesses flocking to Haltom City. So where's all that money going? I don't know if it's wasted. I don't know that firsthand because I'm not a board member on the EDC, but if I was elected to council, if you so choose, I would take a closer look at that, use both a bachelor's degree in accounting that I have and a master's of business administration. I clearly understand accounting terms and budgets and so forth. I would look into not just the EDC, but the entire city, and find and eliminate that waste so that your tax dollars are going to use for you.
Mr. Odell.
My goal here is pretty much like I said before. I want to try to find out why we have so many vacant buildings and vacant businesses here in Haltom City. My goal is to find out what we can do to make people happy to want to be here, to have a business here. Right now, it seems like we have too many issues of businesses not being in Haltom City. We need them, we want them to want to have a business here. We need businesses here in Haltom City, and that's my goal. Let's get these businesses rented out, these empty buildings rented out. Let's find out what's going on, and I'm good with talking to people, and I know I believe I can do some good in this city. And that's my main goal, and that's what I'm going to stick to right there, right now. So I thank you very much, and hope we can do something about it.
Mr. Trung.
Talking about goals, I have a lot, but we try to do one at a time. My main goal for my second term is try to cut down consultant fee so we can save the money for street, because we have some street in Haltom City look like the street in 1948. I'm not happy with that. And the second one I have in my mind, try to keep our experienced employee working here, because I don't want Haltom City to be a training center for other city. After they serve in here like 5 years or 10 years, they move to other city. That's my goal. Thank you.
Mr. Rhodes.
There's many goals we could talk about tonight. Of course, the major ones that everybody seems concerned with is the planned development on 820, bringing in quality businesses, making concessions to get them, but make sure the rewards outweigh the concessions. We need to revitalize our distressed areas of the city. We need to maintain our first responders, give them the things that they need and want to keep them and attract new ones. We need to work on our park system. You've spoken for the parks. We need to keep the momentum moving. But the main thing we need to do in regards to keeping or achieving all these goals, and the unspoken ones that we're not even talking about, is getting you, the citizen, involved. We need to listen to what you have to say, and we need to work our plans with your plans. Do what you need to make you want to stay in Haltom City. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question, what would be one... I'm sorry. I didn't get the answer. Mr. Rowe.
That's it. Thank you. One of the things that concern me is the budget, making sure that the city's fiscally responsible for the money that it takes in, that it's not wasted. Also, the city has a perception problem. I was on a flight and sitting in first class and talking to the passenger to the left of me. We asked where we each were from. She was up in one of the cities up north Dallas, and I told her I was from Haltom City. And her response was, I drive as fast through there as possible. So the city has a perception problem. And so working with the boards, with the citizens to make Haltom City have a better perception, where it's a place where people want to drive through and not run through it. Thank you.
What would be one thing you would do as a council member to revitalize the southern portion of Haltom City. Mr. Groh, since I ignored you before, start out, please.
With that perception, going back to that, one of my neighbors plays in the Monster, is part of the Monster Jazz Band. And we were talking about how to bring a positive vibe to the city, and maybe having a jazz festival in Haltom City, very similar to Bedford's Blues Festival. So I think that would bring a positive feel to the city. It could be hosted in the south end of the city at one of the parks along Haltom Road. There's a nice gazebo there, and I think that would be something that would be, achievable, and bring good sense to Haltom City. Thank you.
Mr. Rhodes.
Programs such as that is what we do need. Things that make people want to come to our city. Educational and entertainment. We have a college campus here that has a lot of programs that a lot of people don't know about. These are things that will bring people to our city. Getting areas of our city involved in working blocks to update and revitalize their properties, show people that we're taking an interest in our city and make them want to come here. By creating a pleasant view, we can make people change their attitude, and this perception that Mr. Groh is talking about has been here for many years, but updating and making our city look modern is one of the ways that we could help grow it. Thank you.
Mr. Averett.
I'm in agreement with both Mr. Rhodes and also Mr. Groh. There we go. I'm in agreement with both candidates, Mr. Groh and also Mr. Rhodes. The more we can do to engage our citizenry and the more inclusion we can bring them into, I think the better off we'll be as a community as a whole. That coupled with code enforcement, I think we can identify some areas that need to be targeted for major cleanups, and we can engage those residents in that area and bring them into our shared vision, create a shared vision with them and what they can do as stakeholders in the community as well to do their part.
Mr. Hutchison.
Organizations like Unite South Haltom have done a good job in engaging citizens and their opinions about the necessary quality of life issues in the South part of Haltom City. The biggest diversity of our population exists in South Haltom City. Somehow we have to get people engaged that are from all segments of the population in the South and trust in themselves and have some vision for themselves in bringing change to the South. I think revitalization is necessary. It's very important. However, I think a changing attitude and a desire to get buy-in from the citizens in South Haltom City will effectively change also.
Mrs. Nunn.
Okay. Well, there are many things that we can do, and I do believe that we have a great head start with the United Haltom group. You guys have been doing an excellent job. First, we need to find the root cause, and then from there you find the solution. And y'all are doing a good job. It's just a matter of finding the solution. I believe parks are a major thing. We need to update our parks. We need to get them looking really good. Again, I think a Veterans Park would be a great addition to Haltom City, and I believe the location would be best in the southern part of Haltom City. If we keep our roads, our streets, use our code enforcement in the right way, people will want to come here and they'll want to be proud of their own properties. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Hilliard.
I very much support everything that everyone has said so far because they're absolutely right. It takes our volunteers, it takes the city administration and the council to work together and come up with solutions to the problems that are identified. One of the things I think that we need to focus on is the quality of the housing that is offered there and how we can support our citizens in making that better. The City Council currently has 2 home programs that will help for issues of making home repairs, and we're working on a 3rd one. But the city can only do so much from that perspective, and we need to work with and engage our volunteers, and Unite South Haltom is a wonderful volunteer association for that area, and hope to see that it grows and that we, the council, and other members of the community, including the north and the middle section, support them.
Mr. Garrett.
I hear a lot of good plans and a lot of good ideas up here. I mean, everyone obviously cares about the south side of the city and wants to put in a plan to clean it up. The first thing we got to do is clean it up. We're not going to make any change unless we get some code enforcement down there. The folks that don't seem to care and want to trash up their property, we don't need those. They need to either need to get it cleaned up or get tired of paying tickets and go somewhere else. That'll help the perception of Haltom City if you got some bad characters that just don't care. The city needs to 100% engage and get that done. Other things are good ideas. Partner with the projects and the groups that we hear tonight. But the city needs to be active in what they're doing. Let's not ignore the streets in that part of town. Let's not ignore the different things that can be done. If there's not a park nearby, let's put a park nearby. You know, the city needs to be actively involved and have a presence down there so the citizens will realize that the city's engaged and cares about where they live, their neighborhoods and so forth, and then they will get involved.
Mr. Odell.
Well, I believe everything everybody said here makes a lot of sense, and I think the community needs to get together and come together as one and try to get things cleaned up. A lot of people can't clean up because they're either, they're handicapped or maybe some elderly people that need help. We have programs for that, and it's not getting out there good enough for them so they can clean it up. So I think we need to get out there and let them know about the programs to help them get their property cleaned up, and I believe it would look pretty good, if we can throw in some help to help the people. That's what I'm here for, and that's what I want to do. I want to help the citizens. I don't want to make them leave, and I don't want to run them off. I want to help them, and if there's a way we can do that and get these programs out here to everybody, that's what I'm looking forward to, is maybe even putting one together. Maybe we can, thank you.
Mr. Chung.
I agree with most of the candidates here. We need to clean up the south of Haltom. Look at south of Haltom. How many houses right now? They have little shack in the back with little electric wire running and air conditioning, window unit, and in there, and a chicken shack, look like some place have like chicken farm, have a bunch of chicken run around. If my goal, our city need more code enforcement so we can go after that. Because if I am a newcomer to Haltom City, I drive around Haltom, south of Haltom, I don't want to live here because it don't look like a city. is still dirty. We need to do a lot of work to clean up the city so we can lure the business into our southern part of Haltom City. Thank you.
How will you promote the Belknap corridor plan and avoid gentrification of citizens in South Haltom City? Mr. Rhodes. Read it again. How will you promote the Belknap corridor plan and avoid gentrification of citizens in the South Haltom City? Mr. Rhodes.
To you, sir.
To me, could you read one more? I didn't get the last part of it, please, ma'am.
Gentrification.
How will you promote the Belknap corridor plan? Why don't you speak to that?
Okay, promote the, no, okay. I know that there has been a lot of study done about promoting revitalization of Belknap. I'm not familiar with all of it, but I've seen part of it. Some of our efforts that we put in on 820 to get businesses there should be put in there. We have a lot of street issues, intersections that need to be updated. I think that would help to bring businesses there. We have some new businesses already going in. The ones that have put in are very nice. We have a new one going in next to the Haltom Motel. It's a very nice upscale looking building. Incentives to bring people to that area would be one way to help, I'm sure. Maybe we were too aggressive in the program that we put out and scared people off. Be a little more relaxed in the way we do it. Is that it? Am I through?
Mr. Groh.
Belknap is a unique street. Thank you, Doctor. Belknap is a unique street. On the west side, we have Fort Worth. So we're going to have to work with Fort Worth City Council to work on that side. So we're kind of in a tight spot. But on the east side, we could progressively move east to west and improve Belknap. Belknap could be, in a sense, like 7th Street in Fort Worth, how they revitalized that area. So it has potential. With the old Haltom Theater, that could be a great anchor spot to push west and get our side of Haltom City right, and maybe that'll convince the Fort Worth City Council to work on that side. So I think it's important that we work with Fort Worth ultimately when we start getting into that area. Thank you.
Mr. Trong.
You know, when mentioned about the Belknap Street, that's a big headache. Because we have some good buildings straight facing the street, but we still have a lot of angle building. How you make them looking good? At least city have some program in the future, try to have them, to bring all the building in one way, or facing in the same direction, not the Asian business new one is facing the street, but other business is still angle like 45 degree or 30 degree. I saw the plan in city manager about revise the Belknap Street for many years before I got elected, but never been done. So I wish our city can help new business come in there by, I think EDC will be the best one, try to give them some money to work on that. Thank you.
Mr. Garrett.
Thank you, Doctor. Yeah, I believe Dr. Chong touched on the key right there at the end, and that's the Economic Development Corporation. That's their job, is to develop economically parts of the city, and Belknap is a key. And just like Mr. Trong said, I've seen the plan myself too, and in the city manager's office, and I think the 820 corridor came through and got a lot of attention, as it should. But it was going to happen regardless of what council was in, but they had to pay attention to that and get that done, which they did. But now it's time to start focusing on the Belknap corridor. What I would do is dig into the plan, see where we're lacking, see where we need to get caught up. I don't usually like to plan and plan and plan and plan for decades and decades and hope something happens. I like to get things done. So dig in, get my hands dirty, find out what we need to do to move forward, and let's put the EDC to work and improve our city to the best extent we can to our border, our Fort Worth border. And we'd also be vital to team up with those businesses down there and help them to realize improvement down there is going to help them just as much as it helps the rest of us.
Mr. Odell.
On Belknap Street, yeah, I've rode down that road a million times. Yeah, I believe the city council and the citizens, the city council needs to get together, and they need to get together, and we need to think of a lot of changes and create a lot of good stuff that can happen on Belknap. So far, it's been a long time since I've been growing up. It's always been Belknap's going to start looking good. It's going to look good. It's going to look good. Well, as far as I know, we've had new businesses coming in, and that's correct, and they look really nice, but not enough. So we need to sit back and have some more meetings about it, and we need to fix the problem. And it's going to be with all the city council and everybody, all the councils getting together and seeing what we can come up with, and that's pretty much what I think on that issue.
Mr. Hutchison.
Thank you. The revitalization program and plan that we put into work a few years ago has affected some changes. The community over there on the west side of Belknap has worked effectively to bring more business into that side of town. The road itself needs some work. It's a state highway, so it's difficult to work with TxDOT in trying to revitalize that area. The overlay plan was not acceptable to the folks in that area. My opinion is that we really need revitalization of the neighborhoods around there, and we can get some revitalization on Belknap by businesses moving into a good neighborhood.
Mr. Averett.
Thank you. I've said this for many years. I think we're being short-sighted with just focusing on Belknap corridor itself. I'm really unsure if the current overlay plan we have down there is not even, I believe it's outdated, it's obsolete. I think we're missing a perfect opportunity for revitalization of the whole southern area from Belknap down to 121. Bordered by potentially Haltom Road and Beach Street. I think what we need to do is engage the stakeholders in that specific area and determine what's best for our community down there. And as far as our economic development consultant, I think what we need to do is I think we need to bring on a more professional organization, because right now it's made up just of a single person. I think we need to revisit that as well.
8:30. Okay. Mrs. Nunn.
Well, I'm in very much agreement with Mr. Averett. I haven't seen that Belknap plan in quite a while, but I do believe that there's definite ways to improve it. And I also agree about the EDC. I believe that we need to have more experienced people that are doing this. It's not an easy project to do by any means. Haltom City, we have such a great location here. So convenient to 121, to the airport, to downtown. And we do need to develop that area and bring more businesses, more people, more restaurants. I have seen an improvement in the past years, but there's a lot more to improve. Thank you.
Ms. Hilliard.
And again, it's hard to say anything new because we had so many great comments. From an aesthetic perspective, and just speaking of Belknap, I think one thing that we need to do is, as we work with those businesses, as they need upgrades or changes, that we should stick to our masonry ordinance and to our sidewalk ordinance. And sometimes we give variances where I think that we really, in order to move toward the future look, we need to stick with those ordinances. The other thing is that I've just had this vision in my head of Haltom City, I'm almost out, of tree-lined streets and making the most of our historical features such as the Haltom Theater. Thank you.
This next question is for the mayor candidates. Why has it taken so long to give city employees a raise? Mr. Averett.
Do you mind repeating the question?
Why has it taken so long to give city employees a raise?
Well, that's a good question. In my opinion, it's taken far too long. I first found out about I came on the council in 2010, and up to that point, well, when I first came on the council, it was really never even discussed other than the normal raise they get, the merit raises. But this wasn't brought to our attention as a council, I guess, until 2013, and we began working on it immediately, myself and Councilmember Hilliard as well. This is something we believe was a high priority and should have been addressed immediately and not let a decade go.
Mr. Hutchison.
I think the pay raise situation has gone along with the economic situation, and throughout the years that I've been on the council, somewhat depressed economy has meant that we've all that the city employees have had to bite the bullet. We've all the intention has always been to get a pay raise for the city employees. However, I really believe that over the past years, the economic situation has dictated we move in the direction of getting merit pay raises or merit or bonuses that are paid so that we can get something to them because we value our employees greatly.
We have so many questions, we're not going to be able to cover them tonight. The organizers said that it's time to wrap it up, so we'll give all of the candidates 1 minute to make a closing statement. Let's start with the candidates for place 3, Willis O'Dell.
Anyway, I'm Willis O'Dell and running for place 3 here. I would like to get on city council. Please give me a chance, and I promise you I'll fight for you 110%. Just give me that chance, and hopefully we can, I want to do things right. Let's do things right, and let's do what the citizens here need. That's what I want to do, and you've heard what I really want, and just please give me that chance, and you won't be disappointed.
Scott Garrett.
I do appreciate everyone's attention and attendance tonight. Just in closing, just want to remind everyone, during my service to the city on the Zoning Board of Adjustment and in various capacities, again on the Charter Review Committee currently, I'm in your service. And those of you that have ever been to a ZBA meeting know that I don't conform to groupthink or maybe what staff wants in a particular case. I'm looking out for the citizens, and I always speak as a citizen of Haltom City to try to make the best decisions I possibly can from that perspective. So I will continue to be your advocate if you would choose to elect me to place 3, and I would greatly, greatly appreciate your votes. I'm coming in with maybe an outsider's point of view because I've never served on council. And I would really appreciate it, and I guarantee I will work harder for you than anyone. I appreciate your time.
Candidate for place 7, Ann Trung.
Thank you for get me elect, I'm already done deal, for a second term. At the city council, my next term, I would like to hear from you, because I have no personal district in town. That's why you elect me, I serve you. You can call me anytime, maybe not after midnight, or you can email me. I will try my best of my ability to do the thing for the citizen of Haltom City. Thank you.
Candidate for place 2, Walter Groh.
Again, I want to thank Unite South Haltom and the League of Women's Voters for putting on this forum and for everybody attending. Like I said, one of my primary areas is making sure the budget is fiscally responsible and also changing the perception of Haltom City. So Haltom City is a place where people want to come and stay and enjoy life. Thank you.
Candidate for place 2, Jeff Rhodes.
There's been a lot of good ideas presented here tonight, and I've expanded on my thoughts and things that I would like to achieve. This has been teamwork tonight, and I would like to become part of the permanent team. If I'm not elected, I'm still happy to stay on the Planning and Zoning Board to do what I can to help there. But my main objective in being elected was to get you involved, and that this team that we will assemble, whoever it may be, work for you and help you lead this city to better things and prosperity. Just remember, your vote equals your voice at City Hall. Thank you.
Candidate for place 1, Marion Hilliard.
Thank you. I too want to thank Unite South Haltom and the League of Women Voters for putting on this forum. This is the first time I've ever done this, so it's quite scary, but it's been quite a lot of fun too. I would very much like to finish the 3rd term, which is the maximum that I can serve in a consecutive manner with this city. I'd like to continue to listen and work for the citizens. I believe that I have done that. And the first time I was approached about running for city council, I told them, I'm not sure you want me because I'm a questioner, and I think that I have proved that over and over and will continue to be a questioner. So thank you very much, and even if you don't vote for me, please vote. Your voice does count.
Candidate for place 1, Janine Nunn.
Thank you. Oh, is it on? Is it on? Okay. I'd also like to thank everyone that came here. It's always great to have citizen concern, and I know that everyone does have concern. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters and the Unite South Haltom group. I'd like to ask you for your vote and your support. You know, first you have to be elected to do anything, but after you're elected, you have to do something. This is where a lot of good-intentioned people fail. It's more than pushing a green or a red button to pass or fail an agenda item that's the staff has put in front of you for a decision. It's analyzing, questioning, investigating, and bringing issues to the table yourself. This is what the community expects. You do this by listening to the citizens and determine a course of action. You have to be a proactive council member. I know I have the knowledge, experience, dedication, and leadership ability to make a difference. Thank you so much for your time.
Candidate for Mayor, Richard Hutchison.
Thank you, Unite South Haltom. Thank you, League of Women Voters. Thank you, citizens, for coming tonight. It's been my privilege to have served as mayor of this city for 4 years and have observed a change in the direction and a growth in this city that's based on quality of life issues, increased tax base and the economic development in this city, and look forward to having that even more. Would very much like to continue to be the mayor of Haltom City, and so I too ask for your vote, and I thank you again for putting on this forum.
Candidate for Mayor, David Averett.
I want to thank you all. Is this on? No? Okay. I want to thank you all for joining us here tonight for this important discussion among your candidates. Your presence here tonight fuels my determination and passion for service. This is our city, and I'm ready to work with you all to do what is best for not just any city, but Haltom City, one that I am proud to call home. It would be our honor to serve as your next mayor, and I would appreciate your vote during early voting from April 27th through May 9th, or on Election Day, May 9th, at the Northeast College campus behind City Hall. Thank you.
We had many, many questions, and I'm sure if the candidates will stay around, and if you want to ask them questions, they will be happy to answer them. Please help me thank these candidates for being so open and talking with us tonight. I'd like to thank the people from United South Haltom for inviting us to come. You citizens have a big opportunity to vote and form your future. Remember, early voting starts April 27th and goes through May 6th, and voting is May 9th. Please remember to vote. Thank you.